Hi everyone, hi viewers. It's Wednesday. That means that we're talking about AI, a lot of fun stuff. Our expert, only Umar Chaudhry is here. We lost Mr. Ahmad somewhere along the road, but our main expert, AI guy, is here. So first of all, welcome. Thanks for being here again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
On this Wednesday and answering some of my questions. So let's dive in. Today we're going to talk about regulatory challenges for AI algorithms. AI algorithms, they learn and adapt over time in comparison to static algorithms. And then today we're going to be covering some of the regulatory challenges that arise with that. And it's actually, it doesn't sound maybe that fun of a topic, but that's actually something that I'm particularly interested at. Because when I talk to ChatGPT, for example, or some other Gemini, it doesn't matter, like some of those LLM models, when I talk to it and it gives me a wrong answer, it's okay. Like if I ask the model if it's like, what is 2 plus 2? And it gives me answer 5. I know it is 4, and I was just going to say, no, it's not 5, it is 4. And then over time, by maybe other people saying the same thing, this model will learn and will adapt and it will become better over time. But this is like 2 plus 2 as like not really important. But with people health and AI going into healthcare, if you say the wrong answer, that may be like crucial. In some cases, I don't want to say anything, but it can be fatal. Like if you say something wrong, like like AI gives you a wrong answer. So this is somewhere I think that AI is great, but it has to be regulated in terms of how much do you trust it, till what point you can trust it, when can you start trusting it, because like it has to learn. But also the other question is like, for me, how does this AI in healthcare, just for healthcare purposes, learn? Because in order to learn, it has to get data, in my understanding. And again, like this is what I want to talk to with Mr. Chaudhry today, just like to understand how it learns. Because if it's gonna take the data from from patients, sometimes it's personal health information, which maybe is a little bit too much to give into the system. And I want it to be governed by some government agency. In our case, well, in healthcare case, it's HIPAA that governs this. But this is where we're going to talk with Mr. Chaudhry, and that's why I brought him here today to talk about regulatory challenges. So let's dive in. A lot to cover. First, First, I'm gonna go straight ahead and answer the question, but then you can go on and answer all my things that I had before. So first of all, in today's world, what are the unique regulatory challenges with for AI algorithms that we're talking about, and especially like how do they differ from static algorithms that were used before?
Right. So just like you rightfully said, Gleb, AI algorithms, that evolve over time, such as those used in clinical decision support tools or adaptive learning platforms, they pose unique regulatory challenges because, their performance can change as they receive the new data. So for example, consider an AI system used for, detecting diabetic retinopathy in patients based on the eye scans. So if let's say if the system continues to train itself using the new patient data without having proper controls, just like you mentioned, it may develop biases due to changes in the data distribution. Potentially, it could affect the diagnostic accuracy. And this is fundamentally different from a static algorithm because a static algorithm is like a fixed rule-based system that consistently applies the same criteria regardless of the new data inputs. That's why it's called static algorithm. And in case of adaptive algorithms, regulatory oversight, they needs to focus on the continuous, I would say, monitoring and transparent reporting of the changes. So it's just like, let's take an example of how the autonomous vehicles basically undergo regular software updates and safety assessments to ensure reliable performance in evolving traffic conditions, because one thing goes wrong and then boom, there's an accident. So that's why
Yeah.
so the criticality is almost equal that we have in healthcare. So that's why the the regulatory challenges that are always there, yes, and the but the approach should be to regulate them accurately without compromising on the innovation.
Yes, that's actually an interesting point that you raised about the AI in cars and automotive industry, because Tesla right now, they have autopilots that run autonomous. But I remember actually, it's a fun story that probably like 15 years ago, when I was much younger, I was probably 15 years ago, I was 9 years old, 80 years old. I was watching a
Hmm.
show on Discovery Channel where the whole idea of the show was to create the best autonomous car. And there were like 10 teams competing each other against each
Hmm.
other, which car is the best. But
Hmm.
and now, like looking back, so in 15 years they went from like, and they were like really really bad. They just had to drive around the parking lot and avoid cones and maybe like some fake pedestrians and fake cars. But that was the entire challenge. That was it. And when you go to, like when you skip 15 years and go to today, where
A
Teslas
lot
can
has changed.
like
Yeah.
drive fully autonomously, but there was a lot. There was definitely, I don't know how much, but there was definitely a lot of regulatory improvements and adjustments
Yeah.
to guard us, because like you, companies like Tesla, they have to be sure that drivers can
Safety.
trust them,
Yeah.
that their
Yeah.
safety is the most important concern. And I think like today we don't know, like AI is gonna train, learn, evolve over time. There will be some regulatory challenges combined with it, and over time, hopefully, sometime soon, in 10 to 15 years, the same would happen at automotive
Mm.
industry. Same is going to happen to healthcare, where
Mm.
over time it's just going to get better, and at some point, like in 15 years, you're just going to think like I think with the cars today, like wow, it just drives by itself, and like wow, it can give me like a really good and accurate
Mm.
answer of what's wrong with me. So that's a great point that you raised. But now, I hear that there are already some proposed frameworks that U.S.
Yeah.
government is giving, and so my question is actually about the framework itself. Like, how does this proposed framework address evolving AI systems that are, I don't know, there's ChatGPT and Gemini and all this stuff, but there's also Epic AI, and there's also like just some only healthcare related AI. There's nothing general. So how does it address evolving AI system, and how can the systems comply with HIPAA data privacy? Same like the question I was asking about PHI, personal health private health information, that it's protected health information. Sorry, PHI, protected health information, that I was asking before, that you have to train the algorithm on.
Correct. Correct. So talking of the FDA's proposed framework, when it comes to adaptive AI systems, so they use the approach of we call it the total product lifecycle approach. So let's take an example. A predictive AI tool which uses basically AI for identifying the sepsis in hospitalized patients. So it may be approved under this framework if it comes with the predetermined change control plan that outlines how it can safely adapt and improve based on ongoing data inputs. So this is how they regulate overall. Once it is regulated, that AI tool, it has to still comply on the ongoing basis. So that's why we call it the total product lifecycle. So this approach allows developers to update AI while maintaining the compliance, so long as they adhere to predefined rules and continuous monitoring metrics to ensure patient safety. So and talking of HIPAA compliance, uh, consider a healthcare system that adapts its risk scores for chronic disease prediction, right? So in the previous episode we talked about it, the disease
Yeah.
prediction. Yeah. So let's say there is an algorithm which basically risks the scores for the chronic disease prediction. So to meet the HIPAA compliance privacy requirements, The system must employ methods such as, data de-identification before processing,
Hmm.
and utilize the encrypted communication channels to prevent unauthorized access. So this is the first most important thing. And then, techniques like federated learning can also be used, allowing the system to learn from the decentralized data without sharing the patient information directly, and thereby minimizing the privacy risks while uh, maximizing the capabilities, the learning capabilities, I would say.
And kind of like I want to dive in on this. So you saying, like in my opinion, and by no means I'm an AI expert, so I'm just trying to like understand how it works. So with I'm going to use ChatGPT as an example because it's the most popular platform now. So
Hmm.
I'm just going to use ChatGPT. So for ChatGPT to get trained, it has to go like it puts like developers, they put a lot of information into this, and then they roll it out, and then by gathering data from us as users, ChatGPT gets better and better and better over time.
Yeah.
Is this kind of bottleneck for health AI healthcare AI, because there's not that much information that they can put in, just because there's not that much of health information as they can put into regular LLM models?
Um, so basically, when there's a lot of data coming in from different sources, so the first question that arises is the authenticity of the data. And because an algorithm is learning and trying to get better over time, but let's say if what if it's basically there are some biases in the data? What if there are
Yeah.
some inaccuracies in the data, and on which the model learns and then starts predicting false positive? I mean,
Hmm.
basically, it's giving the wrong, output and wrong predictions for, especially for the example which I gave, the disease prediction, chronic disease prediction algorithms, which is very critical. So yeah, and this is why it has to be regulated. You cannot use any, around the corner algorithm, which is just, like ChatGPT based algorithm, which is just trained by a group of people. It has to be regulated according to again, the total product lifecycle approach, which is basically present in the FDA's proposed framework.
So the main difference between regular AI and healthcare AI is that for regular, quantity is necessary. For healthcare, quality is more important. That's what
Yes.
I understand. That's
Yes.
okay. Okay, so the quality of the data, but then okay, but then I have another question. So let's say, like, I just don't understand with this AI, with healthcare AI. I'm just trying to like get everything. It's like a lot of information that I'm trying to process at the time. Kind of same
Yeah,
as LLM
that's
models.
natural.
I'm trying to train with them, but like with AI, so it is trained. Like I put like, let's say 5 million of data points into the system. It is trained, but it's still not 100% accurate, 100% correct. Will it then be? Will it then use? Well, they can roll out like a beta version, and then they try it out as saying like, let's say some company rolls it out. It doesn't work 100% accurate and doesn't give the best result. But is it the only way to do it, by rolling it out and then when with doctors correcting the AI model and it learning with doctors? Is it the best model, or it has to be like 100% accurate from the get go?
Yeah. So, for that, it's basically there is an approach which is basically uh, we, we call it regulatory sandboxes. So,
Hmm.
for example, the UK's Commissioner Office, so ICO, Information Commissioner Office, sorry. So ICO is basically, it has been established by UK as a regulatory sandbox. Sandbox, we call it, when you're punching and practicing. So sandbox is the basically testing environment where you build your applications, your
Hmm.
AI-driven healthcare applications, and test them in a control environment, enabling them
Hmm.
to innovate while complying with stringent data protection laws. So these kind of approaches and policies and building these kind of sandboxes, regulatory sandboxes, is essential to make sure the beta version is good to go live in production. And in real
Okay.
action, I would say, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So they will test it out in the sandboxes, as you say, to make sure that it's at least at some level accurate. Not
Yeah,
can be 100% accurate, but like
yeah.
that's actually another okay. And there's so that's the regulatory challenges that has to be addressed, like on which like how accurate it has to be. Is it good enough to be 90% accurate, or it has to be 100%? But like 100% is kind of unachievable, I think. But like,
Yeah.
what's the threshold? If it's like 50% accurate, probably not good. But
No,
is
90%
90
at least, 90% at
okay?
least. And
Uh-huh.
again, I always emphasize whenever I am invited to talk on AI or AI in healthcare, it should be used as your assistant, not as your boss.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
it should be helping you out and giving you suggestions, ideas, like ChatGPT as well. I mean, people that actually got hands-on with ChatGPT, they've started just fully 100% relying on ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini.
hmm
But this is not the case. You should be just using it
yeah,
for idea generation. But especially when it comes to healthcare, uh, let's say disease identification, when the doctor is basically giving the symptoms. In the last 2 episodes ago, we discussed this example. Uh, in fact, in the last episode, yes, when we did some ChatGPT demos, we talked about this. I mean, yes, it gives you the answer, but a doctor should be using it as a suggestion or as an opinion from his colleague, just like
yeah.
from his colleague, and
Yeah.
then make his own decision based on his own knowledge. So that's how it should work.
Yeah, but there's also like a lot of ways that AI can be used in healthcare, because now is being used for scheduling, nurse scheduling, and it's been proven that it's a much better result than a person schedules, and but this is not something crucial for like not particularly crucial for life.
Yes.
It's schedule, and then also analyze as we were talking last episode about the RPM IoT devices, analyzing the data from that. That's something that AI is being used today, but tomorrow it's going to be used as you said, as an advice to doctors from their colleague, basically. That's
Yeah.
what you said. Okay, that's cleared. But now I have another question. Whenever anybody works with the government, and government tries to like balance it out. Well, not kind. Like we are trying to balance it out with the government, because the government wants to control everything, but if you have too much control, there's not enough room for innovation. So that you always have to push on the boundaries a little bit, to get it a little bit better, a little bit better, and then maybe the government and laws will adapt to whatever you have. So with this regulatory challenges, I mean, with this regulatory adjustments that will have to be done by the government to adjust to this new AI era, how would they balance, and how should they balance between allowing for this, as I said, evolve AI systems and getting them much better, but also at some point I would also prefer it to be controlled, so it doesn't get like too much of information, or doesn't get like wrong answers.
Correct. This the balance which you're talking about, balancing innovation and regulatory compliance is it's truly a delicate task, I would say. But approaches like, which I earlier talked, like regulatory sandboxes, can be highly effective. And the example which I previously gave, the UK's ICO, the Information Commissioner's Office, that is in a true sense, it's a regulatory sandbox where the real innovation is happening in a controlled environment. And
Okay.
another example could be, the use of explainable AI, in adaptive system. So, such as a model that predicts medication dosages based on the patient data. So if regulators require the AI to explain its evolving decisions transparency, which is the essence of it, the transparency, the clinicians can better understand and trust the systems. So, ensuring both safety and accountability. So the clinicians would always, will know that this is basically the system or the tool, that the AI-based tool that they're using is basically regulated and by certain regulators. So they will obviously trust on the system and use it more frequently. This is how the usage of AI in healthcare will get more adoption. And additionally, the FDA's collaborative discussions with the AI developers and the healthcare stakeholders, that really helps ensure that regulatory guidelines evolve alongside this technological innovations, I would say. And therefore, this approach of FDA, having collaborative discussions, this is going to encourage safe adoption without, stifling creativity, I would say. And moreover, like regular audits of these systems, post-market surveillance, and the patient feedback loops, that is also very crucial. That also provides opportunities for adaptive AI systems to prove their safety and effectiveness while continuously evolving. Yeah.
So a lot of interesting things are going to happen. That's why I hear
Yeah.
a lot of, but it's from both sides. Now that companies like ours, like yours, like we're pushing for getting AI into healthcare, because there's a lot of things that can be done, I'd say, more efficiently in healthcare. Maybe
Yeah.
not better, but efficiently. And
Efficiently,
there's
yeah.
a lot of data in healthcare, huge amounts that can be analyzed by AI and by LLM models.
Yes.
And there's a lot of push that's going to be happening, like no matter what. So a lot of, I think, in my opinion, a lot of new challenges will arise for FDA and healthcare systems around the world and in the U.S. as well.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, a lot of great things are going to happen, and I mean, a lot of challenges and ideas will rise, and a lot of challenges will become there. But it's a lot to look forward to. I'm looking forward to it. A lot of new stuff happening. So I think this sums it up. There are a lot more questions that I have on this topic that I will cover, but we don't want to keep our AI visioner for too long on this Wednesday. So I just want to announce that next Wednesday we're going to have a live webinar. It's going to be on LinkedIn, YouTube, and I think it should be on Facebook and Instagram as well. Please come. We're going to be talking again about AI in healthcare, about answering the questions that you have. We're going to create a list of the questions that just basically are frequently asked questions by you guys.
Yeah.
And we're going to address them there. And I'm going to do my best to bring Mr. Ahmad there, because I like it when we have three people going on, some debate. And yes, that'll be it. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Please, okay, first of all, thank you, Chaudhry. Mr. Chaudhry, sorry, Mr. Chaudhry, thank you. I'll say now, like, I don't know how to do it, because now when you're alone, I can call you Omar, but I'm used to calling you Mr. Chaudhry. So I'll try to balance it out sometimes here and then. But thank you, Umar. Thank you for being here on the Wednesday with me. I'll see you next Wednesday. Everybody, let us drop us a comment what you want to talk about next time, or in the webinar, or just in one of the podcasts next time, and subscribe to our channels on everywhere, YouTube, LinkedIn, we're on Apple, on Spotify, everywhere. Thank you guys, and have a good day. Bye.